Hello, viewers. A very good morning. Mamuka say. And I hope wherever you are able to hear me well or loud and clear. And today we want to discuss a very important issue regarding the constitution of Zimbabwe. We are going to the elections in 2023. And as young people, we need to agree that we really need reforms. So for us to have the reforms, we need to understand the constitution. We need to get to a point where we can actually tell whether the president is violating the constitution, whether the government is violating the constitution, whether the institutions are violating the constitution or not. So for us to determine that, we need to understand the constitution. We need to learn more about the constitution. So I don't know, viewers, if you are hearing me, please just put a comment. If you are hearing me loud and clear, just let me know in the comment section. So if you also have questions, please help me know those questions. So you just put that comment and we answer you right here and right about now. If you want to be our guest here, if you want to put your own contribution here live, just click the link and I'll add you here on the platform, then you give your contribution. So Team Zimbabwe, we need to build this country as young people. The time of politicking has ended right now. I believe that we need to start to work because we have seen a lot of complaints. So basically, we want to go on to the first issues on the Constitution of Zimbabwe so that we understand where we are coming from and where we are going. So Section 1 of the Constitution is so clear. It talks about the Republic and it talks about the unitary, the democratic and sovereign republic. Where the unitary, we are talking about Zimbabwe as a single unit. It doesn't consist of several states. It is a single unit as a nation. Where democratic, that's where our discussions will be more based on the issue of democratic here. For us to have a republic of Zimbabwe, it must be democratic. And in terms of being democratic, we need to understand. So I'm going to give you a definition here, where we are saying a form of government in which people choose leaders by voting, or a form of government in which common people hold political power and can rule directly or through elected representatives. So this is the definition we want to work with here. And when we are talking about the election of people or of representatives, we are talking of Zimbabwe Electoral Commission running the elections here in the nation of Zimbabwe and other supporting organs of the state, making sure that the elections are free, are transparent, are fair. So for us to have a democratic government, it needs to be elected by the people. And for those elections, or for that government to be valid enough, we need to have a government which was elected in a free, transparent, fair, peaceful election. So by understanding the Constitution of Zimbabwe, we can literally agree and say, do we have a legitimate government? We can literally solve the legitimacy issue in Zimbabwe by just understanding the Constitution. We need to know the fundamental values of a democratic government. How was it elected? Who elected it? Using which basis? And then we go on to say, what is ZEC saying about all those issues? How are they going to address those issues? So let's go on to Section 2, 1. It says, the Constitution is the supreme law of Zimbabwe, and any law, practice, custom, or conduct inconsistent with it is invalid to the extent of the inconsistency. So we have the Constitution of Zimbabwe, And we have the statutory laws which are literally used in the courts of law, which are literally used by many organizations, government agencies, etc. So those laws must be aligned to the Constitution, so that we don't create a situation where we have a constitutional crisis. We don't create a situation where we are illegitimately applying the laws, or illegitimately putting people into prison, illegitimately putting people into power. So according to ZEC, because this is the foundation of the issue, I have talked about the issue of democracy. And I believe we need to talk about ZEC, because we have defined and say, for us to have a democratic government, it needs to be elected, which means ZEC cannot be left out of this conversation, which means the laws which govern ZEC cannot be left out in this conversation, because we have what we call the electoral law. And how does the electoral law work in the elections in Zimbabwe? We have seen that ZEC primarily conducts its elections using the electoral law. But the electoral law itself is inconsistent with the Constitution. So, since the electoral law is inconsistent with the Constitution, it means the section 2.1 is being violated by ZEC. Clearly, it means section 2.1 is being violated by ZEC. So what it means when a section is violated, it means there is a question which arises to say, is this government elected, was this government elected by the people? Was this government supposed to be in power? And is this government legitimate? Those questions arise. Why? Because there is an act, a law which is outside the Constitution, which is not aligned to the Constitution. Reason number one, we need to go to section 2.2. It says the obligations imposed by this Constitution are binding on every person. Every person. The obligations of this Constitution, they are binding on every person. Azvitarise kuti you are powerful, zvakaita sei uri murefu, uri mupfupi, uri mutete. Not only a person, natural or juristic, which means even businesses, they are being controlled by this or governed by this Constitution, including the state and all executive, legislative, judicial institutions and agencies of government at every level. And ZEC is also included as an agency, and they must fulfill the obligations of this Constitution. And what are the obligations of the Constitution? Let's go on to the founding principles of this Constitution. It says, Zimbabwe is founded on respect of the following values and principles. Number one, we have the supremacy of the Constitution, which means the Constitution is above any law you might think of, be it customary law, statutory law, whatever law you might think about. The Constitution is above all those laws. So if you use a law which is inconsistent to the Constitution, you are literally violating the Constitution, and you are acting unlawful. You are unlawfully acting as an individual or as an entity. So let's go and check the issue of the rule of law. How do we apply the rule of law? That is very important to understand as citizens. That is very important to understand at each and every level. The rule of law is recognizing the law itself. We need to recognize what did the law say, or what does the law say about this particular aspect. By understanding that, it means we can now deal with each and every problem, or with each and every arising issue. So we then need to go and check the fundamental human rights and freedoms. We have seen various human rights and freedoms being infringed. I want to give an example where people are saying vaccination is compulsory. It's good for people to be vaccinated, but is it good for it to be compulsory? Okay, if it must be compulsory, it must be included in the law. Which law? The supreme law. So currently, there's no law which is compelling people to be compulsorily vaccinated, which means every institution, be it a government institution, be it a private institution, which is forcing people to be vaccinated against their will, it is violating the same constitution. So our rights are being violated because we are not studying and we are not learning about the constitution itself. There is no law in Zimbabwe which commands people to be compulsorily vaccinated. And such laws, we need to go and ask the people, is this proper? Reason why I am saying so is that Section 3D, Section 3.1D, it says the nation's diverse cultural, religious, and traditional values must be respected. You see, the reason why I said the freedoms, the rights are being infringed by forcing vaccination on people is because there is this D which says the nation's diverse cultural, religious, and traditional values must be respected. So, against my cultural belief, I'm being violated. My freedoms are being violated. And someone might say, but the moment you say, I cannot work, you are also infringing my right to be employed in the nation of Zimbabwe, to my right to be treated fairly at the workplace in Zimbabwe. So, there is no scientific evidence which suggests that people who are vaccinated do not spread the COVID virus. There is no scientific evidence. So you can actually see that there are a lot of issues we need to raise up as young people. There are a lot of issues we need to discuss as young people. And then we actually see and actually agree say, how can we vaccinate people? How can we educate people to be vaccinated on their will, not against their will? So we have violated the nation's cultural, religious, and traditional values by forcing people to be vaccinated. Because you can actually see, to church, you must be vaccinated. But that is going against my religious belief. We have religious beliefs which are recognized in Zimbabwe, which says atibayiwe. So it's good for us to go and say, zvakanakirwa kubayiwa and is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. Then we don't impose vaccination on them. There are people who just believe naturally in natural immunity. We have people who believe so. So why is it COVID is now a priority over cancer? COVID is now a priority over BP. COVID is now a priority over other ailments, asthma, cholera, etc. Why is it we have taken that route? We need to ask those questions as young people. Because the future being destroyed right now, it is our future. The people who are being destroyed right now, we are being destroyed. We are the people who are being destroyed. We are the leaders of today, not of tomorrow. But we have a mandate to take this nation to the next generation. We have the mandate to take this nation from the previous generation or the current generation to our generation, and we take it from our generation to the next generation. That is our mandate. So for how long are we going to be in fear? For how long are we going to be in fear? That is the question we need to ask. So by just defining all these things, you can actually answer yourself and see whether the president and the government are in violation of the constitution or not. But the problem in Zimbabwe is that we have everything command. We have command institutions, we have command agriculture, command mining, everything is on command. Which means the rule of law in Zimbabwe cannot be applicable fairly. In Zimbabwe, you can be arrested, you can be jailed for a crime you didn't commit. It's possible in Zimbabwe. Anything is possible in Zimbabwe. But we have a constitution. What does the constitution say? That is very, very, very important. So we have an issue where a recognition of the inherent dignity and worth of each human being. If I am worth as a human being, if you are worth as a human being, we need to recognize your worth. We are equal. According to the constitution, we are equal. So the moment we have other people enjoying more than other people, it means we are no longer equal. The moment we have other people going abroad to seeking medical treatment, yet here in Zimbabwe, there is no working medical service. That alone tells a lot about equality, about worthy of human beings. Are we worthy enough to be called Zimbabweans? If we can't access basic health, if we can't access basic education, go to the remote areas in Zimbabwe. Nobody is speaking about those areas. The media, most of the media is silent about those areas. We have now seen the social media platforms now coming out and pointing out these things. But where is the public media? Why are they not telling the truth about all those things? So you can see that as Zimbabweans, we are being treated as second-class citizens. Because if we were being treated as equals, you could see that everyone needed to have same access to education. Our kids are going to write the same papers at ZIMSEC. So if they write the same papers, they need to have the same standards in terms of education. We are the same citizens, we have the same ID, which with the same citizenship status. So we need to access the same medical facilities as a country. But that is not happening because we are not being treated as equals, which means there is a direct and willful violation of the Constitution. So we can go and on and on and on and on. I want to give you an example where the people in Muramba, when Muramba China happened, people were treated as less humans. When Chokwe Mukosi happened, the people there were treated as lesser humans. No meaningful compensation was given to them. The majority of the Chokwe Mukosi victims were given 1 hectare each. Vanhu vari kumusha with families, vane vana vakomana varuda kuzovakawo. But you are given 1 hectare, uri kumusha. What can you do with 1 hectare? That is questionable. That's treating human beings or treating citizens as lesser beings. Which means there is a direct and willful violation of the Constitution, just because some people are powerful and some people are untouchable. So, as young people, we know, the more we talk about these things, the more we will get arrested, the more we will be killed, the more we will be beaten, the more we will be silenced. But we are not going to be quiet about all these things. We need to talk about these things. We need to confront all these things. Why are we not confronting all these things as young people? Why? Why are we not learning about the Constitution of Zimbabwe? So there's another aspect here, the issue of gender equality. ZEC itself has failed as an institution to adhere to the constitutional requirements, to the constitutional demands. And the law here is clear. Any conduct which is inconsistent with this constitution is invalid to the extent of its inconsistency. So if the constitution demands that our institutions observe gender equality, and the politicians brings 500 men against 20 women to go to parliament, that's a direct violation of the constitution. Which means ZEC directly or willfully violated the constitution or was coerced by someone to violate the constitution itself. The reason why we have a judge at the top of ZEC is to make sure that the constitution is not violated. As a judge, judges are very powerful in Zimbabwe. Judges are very, very, very powerful in Zimbabwe. It's not easy to sack a judge in Zimbabwe. Even a president finds it difficult to sack a judge in Zimbabwe. Which means as a judge can deliver a judgment which is not biased. At the top of ZEC, there is a judge there. The chairperson of ZEC is a judge. Her mandate, the reason why we wanted it to be included in the constitution was to make it possible for ZEC to deliver the change we want, to deliver the elections we want in Zimbabwe. As long as there is no gender equality when elections are being conducted, it means the elections themselves are invalid. It means the legitimacy issue itself arises. And we need to talk to the constitutional experts and ask them, why are you letting all these things happening? But there is a problem in Zimbabwe. For you to fight a battle without lawyers, without money, it's a problem. So our people need to be equipped financially so that they can take all these challenges and say, here, there's a valid constitutional challenge. We need to challenge this. We need to make sure that we bring this to the attention of the people of Zimbabwe. We need to make sure that we create media spaces which talks directly to the people of Zimbabwe about all these issues, so that whenever we discuss constitutional matters, we reach to as many people as possible. Because the law which can protect us as Zimbabweans is the constitution. We have seen the Chinese violating the constitution of Zimbabwe. We have seen recently in Mtoko there, the people are being victimized by the Chinese. In violation of the constitution, people are being treated as lesser beings in Mutoko. And we are all quiet. There is no legal action being taken. And ask yourself a simple question, why? It is better for us to lose cases, but knowing fully well that we challenged all these issues. At a later stage, we will go and retrieve all these cases from the archives and say, we argued this case in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 manner, and it was not deliberated in a good way. So you can actually see that before we go any further with this constitution, you can actually see Kuti, there is serious misconduct, there is serious violation of the constitution. So section 3.2, it says the principles of good governance which bind the state and all institutions and agencies of government at every level include a multi-party democratic political system, a multi-party democratic political system, an electoral system based on universal adult suffrage and equality of votes, free, fair, regular elections. We have held regular elections here in Zimbabwe, except for now, where we are in direct breach of the constitution because we have delayed by-elections. This issue is not questionable. We are in violation of the constitution in terms of by-elections. And there's no question about that. So for us, how do we conduct free, fair, and regular elections? How do we conduct fair elections, free elections? In 2018, serial numbers were being collected, and ZEC is on record saying it's true, that happened. And what action did they take as ZEC? Nothing. They did nothing. But people were being intimidated. The reason for the collection of serial numbers was to intimidate the people of Zimbabwe, was to intimidate the voters. And ZEC acknowledges that. It is on record acknowledging that. So, if that was acknowledged, why were the elections declared free? Why were the elections declared fair? When someone used force, when someone used intimidation and won the election, that is questionable. We never questioned that. So going forward to 2023, we need to question all these things so that we get to an election which is free, we get to an election which is fair. We cannot have a fair election when only the incumbents are paid, when the incumbents are funded. ZANU-PF does have 2/3 majority in parliament, which means out of 210 constituencies, ZANU-PF is controlling 2/3 of those constituencies. They have representatives with vehicles in those constituencies. They have representatives who are getting allowance from the government of Zimbabwe in those constituencies. So there is no need to fund ZANU-PF, which is well represented in those constituencies. Why are we funding the incumbent? Okay, fine. Why are we not funding other players? So that we bring equality, we bring a fair election. That is questionable. So to honestly answer this, it means we are in direct breach of the Constitution because funding was done to a few people. Funding in Zimbabwe is being done bogusly. So the electoral law itself needs to be reformed. The electoral law does not provide a free, a fair, a peaceful election in Zimbabwe. It does not bring credible elections in Zimbabwe. That is true. No matter how people can try to sanitize it, that is true. So we need reforms in Zimbabwe. We need to reform the electoral laws. We need to make sure that we conduct free, we conduct fair elections in Zimbabwe, so that the democratic aspect in the founding provisions is well defined. We cannot define the democratic aspect of Zimbabwe without addressing the issue to do with elections, because by definition, democracy speaks about an issue of electing people, electing representatives into government, into power. And when there is no fairness in elections, it means there is a problem. There is a direct breach of the Constitution. There's a questionable breach of the Constitution of Zimbabwe. So we need to change in Zimbabwe. Not change of government, but change of how we do things. Which means if the government cannot cope up with the changes we need, automatically that government will exclude itself from power. We are not here to remove ZANU-PF in power. We are here to bring change. We are here to demand change. We are here to make sure that Zimbabwe works for everyone. We are here to make sure that the wealth of Zimbabwe is divided among the Zimbabweans. How can we have a country where people build mansions, mansions and mansions, and these are the same people We have access to money, we have access to businesses, we have access to loans, we have access to everything, health. And the citizens of Zimbabwe continue to suffer each and every day. And we are not allowed to question that. So, as citizens, as Zimbabweans, I believe we need to take a stand. We need to agree. We need to begin to come on these platforms, talk on these platforms, agree on these platforms, and say, we really need change. And what kind of change do we need? We need to change how things are run in Zimbabwe. At this day and age, the government systems are not integrated. You cannot find a service from one point in Zimbabwe. Services which are supposed to be found on one platform, you have to travel the whole town for you to get them. For instance, I want to give you an example. ZEC is on record saying that they cannot automatically remove people from the voters' roll, dead people from the voters' roll. And what is the Registrar General doing? And they are saying citizens must go and get death certificates so that they get removed from the voters' roll. And we are suggesting as young people to say it's easy to govern all those things. It's easy to reduce the cost of removing people from the voters' roll, because according to ZEC, they say it's costly and it costs millions. And I don't know how it costs millions, because if the Registrar General server was linked with ZEC, was linked with the Home Affairs, was linked with each and every ministry here in Zimbabwe, with each and every government department in Zimbabwe, by linking the registrar's office with each and every government office in Zimbabwe, it makes easy for the people of Zimbabwe to do things. It makes easy for the various agencies, government agencies, to cooperate, work cooperatively, to work quickly on information, which means we have masabuku kumusha. Masabuku should just note down in our villages. And at the end of every month, they submit those names, they submit the IDs of those people to say, I am my ID evanu wakafa mu village mangu. Once that is done, we go on to even consider my burial orders. Those burial orders are also considered. And they go to the registrar's office, and the registrar's office immediately issues death certificates and collects the IDs from the people. By doing so, you would see automatically, if you go to ZEC's server, XXXXXX evanhu vakafa who are deceased, and automatically ZEC yakutobvisa vanhu ivavo from the voters roll. Only they can do is just to confirm where the IDs submitted at the registrar's office, which means it's simple. It doesn't cost any millions. Once you invest in that technology, you go for good without wasting millions and millions they always talk about. So I don't know if this government is being head by danta heads or by incompetent people. I don't know the kind of people leading these institutions, people who can't even think about simple technological issues. We need to implement technology and all will be well. So this will, during the elections, this will raise another issue of dead voters voting. Dead people voting. And you cannot dispute all those things when the same people are still on the voters roll and they are dead. Dead people on the voters roll. So basically, Zimbabweans, my message to you is that let's try by all means to learn more about the Constitution. So I want to wrap up this conversation. I don't want to go about 40 minutes. So I want to wrap up. And there is another aspect. We need to have adequate representation of the electorate. And right now, ZEC is about to conduct the delimitation issues. We need to be active as citizens. We need to follow all those things with honesty, with diligence, due diligence, and check how they are going to do the delimitation issues so that we continue to be represented equally, fairly. So I'm trying to check here who my guest is, and I'm hoping that we are going to have a meaningful guest here. So let me try to add this guest here. Let me try to add this guest. Hello, sir.
Hi, how are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, hold on a minute. I just need to find an earpiece so that our sound is does not go bad.
It's fine.
Okay, basically, can I please know your name?
My name is Godwin Mpakairi from South Africa.
Okay, let me try to connect here. Just hold on. Let me try to connect my gadget here and see if we can. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Hello? Can't hear you now. Hi, I can't hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. So we have an issue, sir. I didn't catch your name correctly.
I said my name is Godwin Mpakairi. I'm
Godwin.
watching this from Johannesburg, yeah.
Murise Nkoma Godwin.
Dribo, kwakamira sei?
Aiwa, tiri kutatarika mukoma wangu.
You are doing very nice job there. I just say, let me watch this gentleman who is live streaming. That's nice.
Yeah, you know what, Mkoma Godwin?
Mm-hmm.
We really need to build Zimbabwe.
Yeah. 100%.
And the problem is that we are watching the constitution being violated each and every time.
Yeah, 100%.
And I discovered the challenge is you can see that an institution can violate the constitution, and we all keep quiet just because we have not read the constitution.
Yeah, I think what you're highlighting in this whole conversation from the beginning is very important. We are ignorant of the constitution, and we have never had a time or anyone trying to educate people about the constitution like what you're doing. Because I've been listening to what you're saying, I noticed that not only myself, I didn't know the kind of things that are being violated already by the government and the institutions in Zimbabwe. So that's the first problem of being ignorant of what does the constitution guarantees us, what does the constitution provide us, and when and where do you know whether government and the institutions are violating even the constitution. For example, issue on vaccination, truly it sounds like it's a nice idea to impose vaccinations so that you protect people against COVID. But in that way, you're already violating people's rights. Mm.
Yes.
So that's the problem we have in our country. And the other very important right and the constitutional right that people are neglecting, it is their constitutional right to vote, register
Yes.
and vote. Because the more we do not vote in the country, the more these youngsters are singing in the streets, wasting time in street corners and on social media, at least without registering the vote. They are they are neglecting their democratic right, and they are actually like spitting on the constitution itself, because the constitution guarantees everyone to vote, but there's a problem now there. The institution, they violate the vote, the voters as well, their rights. Imagine ndakaona kuti even now ZEC, it is already violating the constitution. They are registering people to vote, but I only was reading, I was in Harare 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
I was there. I only realized that you only have 2 places, the entire Harare, where people can go and register to vote, which is
Yes.
absolute nonsense, because it is not, ZEC must be able to reach where the people are in constituencies and register people from there. Not to say the whole Harare only have 2 places where people can register to vote. But if you go to the rural areas, you'll find that they could be placing voter registration centers everywhere in communities, but in Harare, they violate people's rights deliberately. So that's a problem
Yes.
we have.
You know what, Mkoma Godwin, on that issue, we managed to ask ZEC why they have 2 districts only, and they don't have an answer about that. If you go in Harare, administratively we have so many districts there, but they only have a district in Chitungwiza and the other one in Harare, which means they are directly violating the rights of the people, willfully violating the rights of the people. Reason being, ZEC is mandated to run the voter registration through and through. That's why they are at work, that's why they are being paid. So you have raised a very important issue here. And as citizens, we need to ask why. And linking this issue you have raised here, have you realized that it's difficult to get an ID recently in Zimbabwe? Which means people who are above 18 years, who reach the age of 18 and who don't have IDs right now, it's most likely they are not going to vote during the by-election. So the question is, how are we going to react if we go to the by-election with unregistered people who have reached 18 years because they don't have the IDs? You see, that alone brings a constitutional invalidity of the election itself, because someone was denied a right to vote because he had no ID. But all these things are happening in Zimbabwe. We had people from Matebeleland, the Gukura Wind victims. Some of them, they don't have IDs. And yet we have conducted various elections from 2013, when this new constitution was incepted, 2018, with several by-elections. And those people were still denied their right to vote. They were still denied their right even to participate in elections. Because if you don't have an ID, you cannot participate in elections. Which means we are in total violation of the Constitution. And how do you view that aspect?
So they are doing that deliberately to scuttle the rights of people, because I was checking, still on this same story of voter registration. I was checking when they were, Zeki had a stand in the ZITF in Bulawayo last week, over this weekend, I'm sure. And there, someone was asking them that how many people have you registered since the voter registration started, maybe early this year? Zek said in Harare it only registered 900 people. That's a joke. It's a mockery. Yet in each and every year, we have over 300,000 in Zimbabwe young people that are turning 18. And also the problem is compounded by that issue you're mentioning of the failure to give these guys IDs. And it's a problem. But my biggest challenge, I don't know how you guys in the media sector and what you are trying to do are going to help, right? There is a need to keep doing what you are doing. I think these funny TVs that I'm seeing on or are you calling yourself online TVs, on online medias? They are just talking about Mnangagwa and Chamisa, and if not that, they're talking about prophets. There is no one who is raising, authentic conversation like the one you are raising here, to educate people, to inform people on the need of having the youngsters actually taught very much the importance of them registering to vote, the importance of them participating in the political discourse of the country. So that's the challenge we have. These people who are owning online medias, we must invest more time in talking about the youth and the vote, the youth and their right to vote, the youth and registering to vote, the youth and participating in the national discourse of the country, because we are the people who are going to be there in the next 20, 40 years. All these people that are running down the country are not going to be with us, whether they like it or not. There's no one who lives forever. But you find that the people that should be registering to vote, they are wasting time singing in the streets, smoking weed on the corners, and nothing is happening, no production. So why can't those people be mobilized to go and vote? The other boring part of it, these political parties that we are pinning our hopes on, the opposition, they are not even thinking about mobilizing the youth, at a grassroots level, not on just social media to say go and register to vote. They need to take stock of everyone who hasn't registered, house to house. If they have councillors, if they have members of parliaments that are gunning for a specific constituent, they must be going into the door-to-door campaigns, taking people, give them transport, sit down with them. In fact, give them incentives to go and vote, register to vote. That's what ZANU-PF does. It is busy on the ground in rural areas. And at the end of the day, they cry foul. It's disappointing.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I agree with you. Basically, you know what, Nkoma Godwin? We have faced a challenge, various challenges. When you want to approach other people's media houses, you are asked the questions, and you know what? Personally, I'm against an issue of asking each other questions. Like, let's say we want to have a conversation, you come here, I prepare questions, and I ask you. I am totally against that. You know, I'm trying to create a situation where we come as young people, we talk about the real issues affecting us as a nation, affecting us as young people, affecting us constitutionally, socially, politically, economically, without any limitations of faith. We are just focusing on this point. I believe if we take that route, it is going to give us more mileage in terms of canvassing the voter education, in terms of canvassing each and every young person, and making sure that we go on to the first point you raised about awareness, about education, educating young people, making sure that we talk about real issues affecting people here in Zimbabwe. And secondly, issue of mobilization. I believe that we need to bring more politicians here so that they speak what they are planning for the people, how they are planning, and how they will implement. Because we have seen promises for a very long time, but those promises are never fulfilled. Reason being, there is no a question here, how are you going to implement what you have just said? Because voters should vote for you according to how you are going to implement. If I say I want to build 10 schools, I must tell people, zvandichaita ndikoti ndichatenga cement, ndichatenga marata, ini moforoma zvidhina movaka chikoro. That is a clear plan. But if we just promise people, say, we are going to build schools for you without giving the actual way we are going to do that, that is the problem. That is the problem we have with politicians here in Zimbabwe. And Mkoma Godwin, your last words, because we are running out of time. I think it is very important for me to invite you on a free slot. When you are free, I think it is very important. Let me check if I can put our numbers on the screen so that you can talk to us via WhatsApp, and so that we can, yeah, this is our number on the screen. You can WhatsApp us on this number so that we get in touch with you and arrange for another conversation with you, because we really need this conversation. We really need to talk. And we don't want to be politically biased. We want to, as you mentioned earlier, we want to address issues as they are, issues which are affecting Zimbabwe. So your last word before we log off.
This is Mukundi TV, right?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, I would ask and request if you can write. You know, my passion is for Zimbabwe. The first question I ask everyone when I get to Harare, I was there the past 2 weeks. I just came here this previous weekend. The first question I ask every person I meet is, did you register to vote? Did you register to vote? From my brothers, my sisters, I make sure that they are registered to vote. They are part of the electoral activities in Zimbabwe. So my appeal, if you can, you guys in the media, can you create, you know, awareness materials? You know, I understand the purpose of any media material is to educate, entertain, and to inform. If any product of a media house is not educating or either informing or entertaining, it is actually missing the point. So can we be able to create something that informs the youth on the need for them to register to vote, and if need be, create those media materials like WhatsApp small videos that can circulate easily, like viral. We can put them on WhatsApp groups, we can put them on family groups, those small media materials. ZANU-PF and this government has closed the public media space, but we can undo that these days with social media. I mean, WhatsApp groups with people in the rural area in Chikomba, where I come from. People, they like to hear things. So we put those medias in our WhatsApp groups in the rural area. We can touch every corner of Zimbabwe and tell them how terrible we are with this government, how terrible we are with these people that are leading us, and how our future is likely to look like if we spend more 10 years with these people. So let's have some media materials like small WhatsApp pictures or small WhatsApp videos that can circulate easily without consuming people's data, like a 5 megabytes small video. You know, find those little guys. I can do that myself. I'm a graphic designer. Design some little educative but also entertaining, informing materials just to send around. And I know it is a fact in today's dispensation. If you do a research, you know that people are spending 70% of their time on social media, actually on their phone. When I was talking to you, I had to take a look at my phone. So if people are spending more time on their phones, let's push in materials to educate, like this discussion we're having, somehow to have a snap view or a small video that advertises what we are doing on social media. On Facebook, we put on WhatsApp statuses, in WhatsApp groups, many places, and then the story goes. That's my appeal to you and to the people of Zimbabwe. Let us start to be engaging, and to the young people, can we register to vote everywhere we are in the country? Because I have a job here where I am. I am peacefully working. I am doing a lot from here. But I'm sorry for a brother, a sister who is sitting in Zimbabwe, maybe in the rural area, in the town. There is no water. Water is terrible. There are no roads. There is no, internet is even a problem. I was surprised that internet calling someone on WhatsApp is even a serious problem there. Something that is a human basic right. So that is my appeal to the young people of our country, of our generation. Let us start to be involved. Let us register to vote. Let us get involved in these discussions of constitutionalism. Thank you so much. Thank you. I think I lost you there. Hi.
Okay, my brother, I'm very sorry. We have overstayed here. And because of that, I'm losing my connections here and there. So can we agree that we reschedule this discussion and we explore more on this issue at a later time?
Yes. I'll send you a WhatsApp now.
Yeah, so you can just WhatsApp me. I'm going to check for then I will talk to you. We will agree about the time to go live once again.
Okay, no worries.
Okay, thank you very much, my brother Godwin. So viewers, it was a very, very, very fruitful discussion here with my brother Godwin, who accepted to join us. And here, Mr. Stephen Mwale is saying, thank you so much. I totally agree with you to create those platforms. We will support you here in Zambia. No more dictatorship. And thank you, Mr. Mwale, for offering that support. We really need to bring democracy here in Zimbabwe. We really need to bring change in the SADC region and the whole of Africa. We are tired and we no longer want dictators to continue leading the nation unchecked. So the time for our generation to take over is now. We cannot go beyond this time because we are going to be outdated without taking power, without implementing our ideas. We cannot afford to go to the grave with our ideas. So we have kickstarted these episodes. We are coming with various episodes, many episodes concerning the issue of the constitution to make sure that we bring democracy in Zimbabwe. And what is democracy? We need to have free, fair, and undisputed elections for us to fulfill Chapter 1, which talks about the Republic, Section 1, which talks about the Republic where Zimbabwe is a unitary, a democratic, and a sovereign country. So thank you very much for watching, and we are going to notify you about our next episode. So if you are new to this channel, or if you haven't subscribed yet, for you to get each and every update, and if you are subscribed, please subscribe, and also don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that each and every time we go live or we post an update, you get notified. So we have been facing various challenges for us to come live, but we have tried by all means to resolve all those issues. We have tried by all means to make sure that we create this platform which will run forever till all things get better here in Zimbabwe. As I mentioned earlier, we are not against the government of Zimbabwe. We are not against President Emerson Mnangagwa. We are against the violation of the Constitution itself. We are against the willful violation of the supreme law of Zimbabwe. We have seen the government itself, the president, and the institutions violating the Constitution, and we cannot continue. We cannot afford to be quiet for any longer. So we need to speak out. We need to come and discuss. We are not going to fight anyone. We are just going to define the Constitution so that the people will go to the election knowing very well that they must not be coerced to vote for anyone else. So we have our brothers in the rural areas. As my brother mentioned, that we need to go there. Political parties working with the media, we need to go there, mobilize young people, educate young people. And I would like to thank my brother Godwin for the valuable, important contributions he made on this platform. And I know that our viewers have benefited something. So the WhatsApp number is on the screen. If you want to be part of our group so that we inform you about our future episodes, just WhatsApp us and say Mukundi. You just go and say Mukundi, and we will add you into our group. We need to create vibrant groups, as my brother suggested. We need to have vibrant groups. We need to have informative groups, WhatsApp groups. We also have a Facebook page, and very soon we will be broadcasting live on our YouTube and both on our Facebook. We want to cater for that, but we are going to upload this on Facebook. So you need to tell your loved ones, please, for this message to reach as many as Zimbabweans as possible, you need to share. So you can actually take the link, you can actually share the link into various WhatsApp groups so that other people can benefit from the input. So if you join the WhatsApp group, we are going also to share the link so that you expand the network across Zimbabwe, across Africa. Once we do that, we are going to have power into our hands. 2023, we are not going to disappoint. 2023, we are going to win this election, and it is not going to be disputed. That is the reason why we are dealing with the Constitution. We want to reach 2023 understanding the fundamental aspects of the Constitution so that nobody will be violating our rights, nobody will be silencing us as Zimbabweans. So thank you very much for your support, and till we meet again at a later stage, I think I will post an update. So if you have subscribed, it means, and if you turned on the notification bell, it means you are not going to miss out this one. We had agreed that we do these lectures at 9 p.m. But we are still facing a few challenges here and there, and we are trying to rectify those challenges to make sure that we go live at 9 p.m. each and every day. Tisingamire, tisingazorore. I love you, each and every Zimbabwean. Ndinokudai mese. And basically, munodadisa vana Zimbabwe. You are the best. You are the wonderful people I have ever seen. You are the wonderful people I have ever met. We love you. But we really need change. We need to push. for that term. So till we meet again in the other episode, stay tuned.